Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in to another live flow with Mystic. We're so happy to have you guys tune in. Hopefully, you are slowly starting to trickle in. I don't know how fast this registers our viewers here, but we got two so far. Hopefully, the audio is good and everything is working normally. So we have Mirari this morning here demonstrating. She's been. How long have you been coming to Mystic? Just out of curiosity. 4 weeks. But before that, like in general, yeah. Summer of 2017. Wow, that's awesome. I always love to hear people's length of time coming into Mystic because we have so many new faces always coming in, but then we always have our diehard community that's always there. So Lynn being one of those. I remember I worked at Kugel's Diner, and Lynn and a friend would come in after a Sunday morning Joe class, I think, maybe? Which, no, maybe it was Saturday morning. Saturday morning Joe class. Lynn, tune in if you can correct me. And you'd come in with a girlfriend and you would sit in Kugels and I'd wait on you guys. And the first thing you'd ask for is a big cup of water with extra ice. And I was like always so curious. What are they doing in that yoga studio? So I'm glad I found my way here eventually. Just a couple of quick announcements. We are still running our Venmo account, so if you're in a financial situation and you feel moved to make a donation, you can do so on our Mystic Fitness Venmo account. Friendly reminder, wow, we got Tom, 11 and a half years going strong. And Lynn confirmed, yes, it was Saturday morning with Joe. Yeah, I love seeing you guys come in. January 2009, Tom says, wow. That's amazing. Yeah, I think I've been coming here for 4 years. Yeah, I think about 4 years, like 2014, 15-ish. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so our Venmo account. You don't need to make a donation to enjoy these classes. They are totally free and available to the community. So please send them to your family members. Send them to your friends that are looking for some free yoga. Additionally, we're doing our YouTube channel as well. So if you don't like to use Facebook or Instagram, that's your option of viewing. And those are really easily to send as well. I think that's all we have for announcements. Oh, and if you make your Venmo donation, you'll get a handmade mask from Mary Beth, whose birthday it is today. So if you know Mary Beth, send her a happy birthday. We're very thankful to have her part of our community. And yeah, just a happy birthday to Mary Beth. I hope she has a fabulous day. Maybe some yummy food and cake as well. And thank you for making all of our handmade masks. They're absolutely beautiful. I've washed mine countless amount of times and it's still holding together nice. So let's go ahead and get started. Find your way onto your mats, either sitting down or laying down, whatever feels best for you. An area where you can come into some breath. Take any little wiggles or movements that you need before entering a comfortable position. It looks like we are going to have some rain today, so hopefully that will give some of us relief from our pollen allergies. I know everything's just been coated in it, and usually I suffer more in the early of spring, but this year it's a little bit later. So let a big wave of breath come over you. Take in that nutrient oxygen. And then let go of what no longer serves you. I'd like to ponder this thought with you all. The fact that change is the only constant. And at first it might seem like an intimidating thing or scary. But there is this sense of peace that you can tap into once you realize the temporary nature of life. Even if you look outside, can see how fast nature is going through changes. The growth of a flower, or leaves on the trees. And the only thing that we can truly count on is the change that occurs throughout the world, this transformation always taking place. And this also means that through the difficult times of our lives, where we're stressed or anxious, even sad, lost, this is temporary. So find the comfort in change. Befriend it. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Again, in and out. Slowly starting to reawaken through the toes and fingers, rocking the head from side to side. And if you are in a laying down position, taking the next couple movements to slowly pick yourself back up into your seat. Once you're there, taking the palms together and rubbing them, waking up the nerve endings of the hands, bringing a little life and warmth into the palms, and then taking that energy and placing it right over your heart, letting this physical sensation of touch just be felt. We'll begin practice with the sound of Om, starting with the cleansing breath. Breathe in and out. And for Om, inhale. Throughout class today, I encourage you to notice all the transformations that happen physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. We're going to bring ourselves into a standing position, so go ahead and take your time to arrive, taking as many wiggles or movements as you need once you get there, placing the feet into the top of your mat. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms, reach up. And with the exhale, hinging from the hips, finding a gentle forward fold. Keep a deep bend in the knees to start. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Let's take a couple more halfway lifts. Inhale, bring the fingertips to shin, rise halfway. And exhale, fold. Two more here. Inhale, rise, engage the lower belly, grow the crown long. And exhale, fold. Last one here. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. This time, inhale, slowly start to rise one vertebra at a time. Finish it off with those arms extending overhead. And exhale, hands to heart here. Making sure the feet are hip distance apart. Inhale, reach those fingertips up to the sky. And then with the exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Find a chair pose. So send those hips back. Inhale, rise. Squeeze the glutes. Press the pelvis forward. And exhale, chair. Four more. Inhale, lift and rise. Exhale, chair. 3. 2. When you come up, really squeeze through the legs. And 1. holding in your chair pose for a brief moment here. I want you to send those hips back a little bit more. Try to keep a nice flat back here. Breathe in. And with the exhale, hinge forward. We're going to hold here in our forward folds for several breaths. So if you'd like to start with a bend in the knees, you might even consider bringing the forearms on top of the thighs, kind of using that as a little shelf to find some spinal decompression through your lower back. Once you feel that lower spine release, you might start to get a little deeper, maybe moving into some more hamstring stretching by bending and extending through each leg. Perhaps bringing the fingertips onto the ground or coming into a ragdoll position, grabbing onto opposite elbow and finding a gentle swaying, shaking of the head, yes and no. Deep breaths here. Notice the transformations that are taking place throughout the hamstrings. Inhale, coming up to your halfway lift. And with the exhale, let's bring our hands to our hearts and just step that left foot back, coming into a crescent lunge. So eventually picking that chest up, making sure the feet are hip distance apart, and tucking through that back left knee so that that pelvis is right underneath the shoulders. Finding some cat and cow movements in our lunge this morning. With the inhale, opening the arms out in goalpost position, peeling your chest forward. Maybe your gaze even reaches up. This is your cow pose. And with the exhale, we're going to pull the elbows in towards the front and kind of pull your gaze towards the lower belly, rounding through your spine. This is your cat pose. Inhale, arch and open. Maybe you extend through that left knee to find that really dramatic arching. And with the exhale, maybe as you curl in, you bend through the left knee so that you can really tuck the pelvis below you. Inhale, arch and open. Exhale, curl and round. Two more here. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back to your crescent lunge, planting the weight into the right foot, and then picking left knee up towards the chest. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release left foot back down. Make sure the feet are hip distance apart. Inhale, arm circle, sweep up. And exhale, hinge from the hips, forward folds. Inhale to a halfway lift. Bring the hands towards your heart. Step right foot back. Find your crescent lunge as you slowly lift that chest up. We'll find the same progression of movements here. Setting up in our feet first. Make sure the feet are hip distance apart. Inhale, finding your cow pose as you pull the elbows apart from one another. Peel that chest open. And exhale, elbows come to touch. Curl through your spine. Again, inhale, maybe you start to extend through the right knee. And your exhales, maybe you're bending through the right knee. So you can make this tucking really dramatic. 4 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. 3. Keep that left foot pressing into your mat as you breathe and move. Here's 2. And 1. Inhale to center. Bring the hands towards your heart. Bring the weight into left foot as right knee picks up towards the chest. 3, 2, 1. And lower. Shake it out a little bit. You can roll the wrists a couple times, maybe above the head or down by the sides of the body. Opening and closing the palms a couple times. And then just finding some movement through the shoulders. So I really like how Kelly Spencer did this the other day, kind of finding a little back stroking motion. And then a front stroke, or I guess, what would that be called when people just swim like this? Breaststroke. All right, beautiful. Inhale, arm circle, sweep up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward folds. Inhale to your halfway lift. And exhale, hands plant, stepping back to your plank pose. Let's set up in our plank pose. So again, we're tuning into the transformations throughout our class. So notice how your body kind of resists the plank because it's more difficult. But guess what? It's temporary, and we're holding it for 5, 4. Press those heels back. Pull the chest forward just a touch. Beautiful. Inhale together. Exhale, lower those knees to the ground. Allow the chest to slowly lower as well. Inhale for your low cobra. Start to pick the chest up. Keep your gaze to the ground. Elbows towards your body. And exhale, fold. Let's find one more low cobra. Inhale, peel it up. Exhale, fold. Pressing your way back into your table pose. We're going to pause here and find some hip circles. So dropping the hips towards the right and then swinging over to the left, back and forth. Finding some big movements through your pelvic bowl. Getting into the hip flexors and inner and outer thighs through your journey. These can be big circles or maybe little figure 8s or semicircles. Whatever creates openings through your hips in a natural progression. Make sure you take it in both directions. And then we'll come into our table pose once again. Make sure you have a nice flat back. Sending the left toes behind you to start. And then picking those toes up off of the ground so that the heel is in line with the hip. This is an extended table. From here, kicking left foot out to the left. Hold here for 3. Flex your foot. 2 and 1. Land that left foot to the ground. Find some back and forth presses here. So this is a half child's pose. So you can take some nice back and forth presses here. As you press the hips back, the left toes might even point up towards the sky. If you find a sweet spot along the way, maybe you want to linger there for a moment. And then eventually we'll come all the way back up. Keep that left foot out to the left and start to pick the chest up off of the up to the sky. From here, inhale, reach the arms up. And with the exhale, dropping left fingertips towards left thigh, finding a side stretch on the right side body. So with the inhales, come off of your edge just slightly. And your exhales, finding a deeper stretch. Relax that right shoulder. Inhale. And exhale. Last one here. Finding your deep side stretch. Inhale, coming back, reach the arms up to the sky, and with the exhale, bring the palms back to the ground. Keeping the left hand planted on the earth, inhale, right arm sweeps up to the sky, and exhale, thread the right fingertips across towards the left. Inhale, sweep it back up, and exhale, thread. One flowy thread here. Inhale, right fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, right hand plants. Take that left foot back, or left knee back, rather. Take a couple side to side movements, cat or cow, before we take it to the other side. So starting with a flat back, send the right toes behind you to start. Pick that heel up. Keep it in line with the hip. Flex your right toes towards the earth. Inhale. With the exhale, kick the right foot out towards the right. This is very challenging. We're here for 2 more. Beautiful. Landing the right foot down to the earth and taking those back and forth presses. So that helicopter pose where we're taking our right leg out to the right is kind of a muscle that we don't often use in our legs. So it can sometimes feel a little crampy. What I want you to do is just follow that up with some nice back and forth movements here in that half child's pose. If you find your sweet spot and want to hold here for a moment, maybe those right toes reach up to the sky. Returning back to center, keeping that right foot where it is, using your abdominals to lift your chest up. Inhale, arms follow. With the exhale, right fingertips come down, finding that side stretch with the left fingertips reaching up overhead. Inhale to soften and come off of your edge. Exhale, deepen. 2 more breaths. Try to keep that chest lifted, left shoulder relaxed. Last one. Inhale, coming back to center, arms reach up nice and long, and exhale, palms to your mat. Keeping the right hand where it is, inhale, left arm sweeps up, exhale, thread. 2 more, inhale, sweep, exhale, thread. Last one. Coming all the way out of it the same way you got into it. Left fingertips reach up and then plant to the ground, finding your table pose. Let's activate our core here by finding our flat back, tucking the toes under, and lifting the knees to just a hover. So this is a great exercise where we can practice engaging our core but still let breath move naturally. So sometimes when we engage our core, we end up sucking in. We want more of a tensing than a sucking. Last breath here. And exhale, drop those knees to the ground. Maybe find a quick child's pose. We're going to find one more set of that with a little added fire if you choose. So let's prepare by coming into our table pose. Find your flat back. Tuck the toes under and lift the knees to just a hover. Now choosing to stay exactly as you are, or we're going to reach the right knee out to the right and then back to center. Left knee out to the left, back to center for 10, 9, 8, 7. Try to keep those shoulders and hips where they already are. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Pick those hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Start to pedal the feet out here, bending one knee at a time, finding some movement in your downward facing dog. So this is our first dog of the practice, so allow it to happen naturally. Again, noticing the transformation taking place between each pose. So each pose builds on the one after it. So this downward facing dog is it's a transitional pose. This is the pose where we start a lot of our sequences from this downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees to a hover, find your bent knee dog, and then with the exhale, extend forward into your plank pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Now choose if you want to keep those knees lifted or let them drop. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga, slowly lowering halfway or all the way. Inhale, up dog or low cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky. Bend the knee and open your hip by dialing the right heel over towards left glute. Try to point the right knee up to the sky. Keep both hands actively pressing into the earth. Inhale, right leg reaches back up. Square your hips. Exhale, pull the right knee towards the chest. Step to your runner's lunge. In your runner's lunge, you can always set this up by taking blocks underneath the hands. You want to make sure feet are hip distance apart and that right foot is really pressing into the earth. And the ball of the left toes are on towards the back of your mat. Finding our thunderbolt position by reaching the left arm forward and right arm back. So we're finding this contrast of a reaching and pulling forward and a reaching and pulling backward. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's dial the left heel down, cartwheel open with your hands, warrior 2. Setting up your warrior 2. So know that your feet aren't in cement. You can always readjust through the feet. We want to make sure that the right toes face forward, and the back edge of the left foot is actively pressing towards the back of your mat. So a lot of times in our yoga classes, the majority of the power behind our poses is this contrast effect of parts of the body pressing forward and parts of the body pressing backward. And that's very fundamental for a lot of our standing postures. And in our warrior two, we have that same kind of contrast, almost like we're ripping the mat apart with the legs. With the inhale, flip right palm, reverse your warrior. And with the exhale, find your side angle, allowing that right wrist or forearm to come towards the inner right thigh or knee. Now you'll notice Mirari is keeping that right arm extended, but perhaps you might want to bend the right arm and take the forearm on the thigh here as a little shelf to support yourself. Notice if your hips are pressing back, try to tuck those hips right underneath you. One long line, breathe in and out. Bringing the right fingertips onto your shin, extending through that right leg, finding your triangle pose. So as much as we're extending through that right leg, we do not want to hyperextend the knee. So Mirari has a beautiful expression of this triangle pose. She's using, again, the contrast of right foot pressing forward and back edge of the left foot pressing back to keep herself lifted. This is a very strong abdominal and oblique exercise. Breathe in and out. Inhale, return back to your warrior two. Find a bend through that right knee once again. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, cartwheel, hands down, back to your runner's lunge. Hands plant, step that right foot back to meet left, or keep the right leg lifted in a three-legged plank, your choice. Breathe here. Last inhale. And exhale takes you to your chaturanga, slowly lowering to your degree and then opening your chest up to the sky. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Know that at any point in your class, if you need a drink of water, you're totally welcome to do that. Inhale, pick that left foot up towards the sky. Bend the knee, dial the hip open by letting that left heel drop over towards the right. Keep the knee pointing up for the sky. Make sure you're not dumping all of your weight into the right shoulder. Inhale, square the hips, kick that left leg long. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest, find your runner's lunge. So we always take the correct amount of time that we need to set up our poses before coming into the next round of postures. So feet are hip distance apart. Plug that left foot into the ground. Sometimes I like to imagine, you know how Legos kind of stack on one another? I like to imagine that my foot is a Lego pressing into the ground. From here, keeping that right arm forward, left arm pulls back, thunderbolt position. We might be seeing some thunder this afternoon even. So really make this powerful as you pull forward with the right fingertips and pull back with left fingertips. So here's another beautiful expression of that contrast to lock you in. Last inhale. With the exhale, dial right heel down, cartwheel those arms open, warrior two position. Thank you for adjusting, Mirari. Making sure those left toes point forward, back edge of the right foot to the bottom of your mat. Find that contrast effect. So if you're kind of wondering what I mean by that, I mean by there's this expression of energy pressing forward through the left foot, and then there's this expression of energy pressing backward with the right foot. Flipping left palm, inhale, reverse your warrior, and exhale, extend your warrior, holding here. Making sure that the hips didn't press back to make this happen. You want to keep the hips stacked right below shoulders. Really engage through the obliques here. This is an ab exercise. So not all of our ab exercise have to be taken just isolating the abdominals. This is a beautiful core workout just as is. Bringing the left fingertips onto your shin, extending through the left leg, but keeping a micro bend there. Notice if you want to drop the left hand, sometimes that sacrifices the placement of the hip. So make sure that left hand lands in the location where you can keep those hips stacked below the body. Here's your last breath in to hold, and out. Returning back to your warrior two, finding that bend through left leg once again. Flipping left palm, inhale, reverse. And exhale, cartwheel, hands down, runner's lunge. Hands plant, left foot steps back or stays lifted for a three-legged plank. Hold here for the inhale. And exhale. Here's your last inhale. It's temporary. And exhale. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. And with the exhale, downward facing dog. Perhaps dropping the knees to the ground for a moment to find a quick drink of water. It's funny, when we first started doing these virtual classes in Mystic, I would start with a layer on and I would get warm and I'd take it off. Now it's just it's just warm in here. But we love it. We love that. Eventually we're going to come back to our downward facing dog. We'll all meet there. Perhaps pedaling your feet. Make sure the shoulders are rolling down and away from your ears to have a nice long spine. Do you have any balance requests, Mirari? Balance requests? Standing leg, yeah, okay. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward folds. Inhale for your halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, arms, circle, sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart, ground down here. So that's actually a great idea, Mirari. I've never actually cued, you're talking about the Bikram version where you hold your foot and kick it forward. Oh, the dancing Shiva? Yeah, let's do it. Beautiful. So you want to plug both feet into the ground, and we'll start on our right side. So take the right toes, flare them, and then press them back into the earth. So we're really finding that connection to the earth. Inhale, arms circle, sweep up. And then we're going to pull the left knee in towards the chest, interlace the hands on the shin, give it a squeeze, perhaps rotating through the right ankle. And then let's interlace the hands behind left thigh and just take some kicks here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold there if you can. Flex that foot. And then bend the knee. Keep left hand on the knee. Open right arm up to the right. Left leg out to the left for a dancing Shiva pose. Now, if you are the dancer type, you might grab onto left foot or ankle and kick that left foot out towards the left. Notice if this is sacrificing and you're kind of dumping the weight into the right hip, try to keep those hips stacked right below you and really squeeze through the glutes. Now slowly and with control, if that leg is extended, bring it in front of you, swap out your hands, and if it's a bent knee, you're just swapping out the grip, and we're going to find a twist. So let that left arm open out to the left. Maybe your gaze follows. Squeeze through that right glute. Keep a micro bend through that right knee. Slowly start to return back to center. And land left foot back to meet right. Shake out that right leg. It's not easy stuff. Now, while we're just taking a quick break too, if you're someone who really wants to land that dancing Shiva with the kick out, one thing that you can do that kind of prepares yourself for it is bringing that left palm underneath the thigh and then taking some kicks, kind of like how we did standing forward. Just a little tidbit. So let's take that to the other side. We're going to start by placing the weight into that left foot. Inhale, reach the arms up. Really stretch out of your waist. And then pull the right knee into the chest. Interlace hands on your shin or knee. And then find those rotations through right ankle. From here, interlacing the hands behind right thigh, trying to keep that chest lifted. We'll take 10 kicks. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here. Try to keep that chest lifted. Breathe in. With the exhale, bending the knee, right hand on your knee. Open it up to the right, left arm out to the left. Again, if you're the dancer type, you grab onto foot or ankle and lengthen that right leg out to the right. Again, notice if the hips are kind of getting funky, try to keep those hips right below you. Flex that left glute. Slowly and with control, either with bent knee or extended leg, we're going to switch the hand placement. Bring the foot into the center line of the body. Open right arm out to the right, or behind you rather. Now, you can keep a bend through that right knee as much as you want. Maybe the gaze follows right fingertips. Here's your last breath to stay with it. Exhale, slowly come back to center and release right foot down. Shake it up. Nicely done. Beautiful suggestion. And always, when we talk about transformation and changes, balance is the ultimate transformation and change, right? Some days are better than others. Some sides are better than others. Sometimes my right side is better than my left side. So just honor wherever you're at and know that the changes will happen with the work that's put in. Planting feet to the ground. Inhale, circle sweep the arms, reach up. And with the exhale, sit back into your chair pose. Hold here for 10, 9, maybe taking a gentle little bobbing up an inch and down an inch for 10. I lied to you guys. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold through the center for 8, 7, 6. This is temporary. Stick with it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Forward, fold, enjoy. You might even walk the feet a little bit off of your mat and turn the toes in, heels out for a little bit of an alternative stretch. Perhaps even finding a malasana squat by letting those hips sink down. I like to bring my hands to the heart and use my elbows to kind of splay my knees out to the sides. A couple options might be taking a block and placing it underneath the tush so that you're supported in a seat. Or it might be stacking the elbows on top of the thighs, kind of coming into like a little ski racer squat. We'll just hold here for one more breath. No big deal if you can't access this. Coming all the way back up, toe heel the feet back to center. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly rise all the way back to standing. Arms reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. I'd like to take one last balance here. We're going to come into a tree pose. And I'm going to give you guys a little freedom of expression here. So you can either come into a Bikram variation of tree, where that is the sole of the left foot kind of shines up in that hip crease, or into your classic version of tree that we can do together. So taking that right foot into the earth, reaching the arms up to the sky, and then pulling the hands towards the heart. Starting your tree pose by letting that left foot either come into the inner shin or thigh. You just want to avoid the knee. So you don't want to place the left foot anywhere on your right knee. Now again, the stability of this pose is that right leg being your tree trunk, standing strong and really flexing, and then that left foot is kind of pressing into right thigh. But right thigh is so strong it's not going anywhere. This is like a lock that happens once you can access this. 3 breaths here, perhaps taking any other variation through the hands. And slowly and with control, we start to exit out of the pose, letting the left foot land next to right. Inhale, circle sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart, coming into your tree pose on the other side. So left foot plants, bringing the right sole of the foot somewhere in the inner left leg, just avoiding the knee. And then we're going to take that same activity of taking that left leg and planting it just like a tree trunk. And then right foot presses on that strong limb. This is where you lock into this pose. Once you kind of identify that locking, this pose becomes so much easier to hold. Arms can do whatever they like for the last 3 breaths here. And with your last breath, slowly and with control, start to release back down. Shake out the legs. And we'll go ahead and flow onto our mats here. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands plant, stepping back to your plank pose. We're going to take 30 seconds of mountain climbers here. So really press the the hands into the ground. And then we start to pick the right knee to the chest and back, and left knee to the chest and back. You can go as fast as you like or as slow as you like. You can say screw it and just hold a plank pose. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in your plank pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to take it into our pigeon pose. If you prefer a reclined pigeon, you can go ahead and transition onto your backs. If you're ready for a prone pigeon, inhale, right leg sweeps up to the sky. Exhale, right knee pulls towards right wrist. And landing down here. Now it's very important here that that right thigh is parallel to the long edge of your mat. In this pose, you might open left knee out to the left a little bit or take a block underneath right hip. And there are several different ways you can express this posture. That might mean that you kind of keep your chest lifted. Or maybe you express this posture by slowly hinging, allowing your forehead to come to the earth. I prefer to take a block underneath my forehead so I can really relax the shoulders and neck. But do whatever brings you the most sense of peace and comfort. As we're in this pose, just kind of tuning into the changes within their physical body. Notice the changes within our mental body. Tuning into what has changed here, maybe the breath pattern or the pace of the heartbeat. The feeling of a damp brow from a little bit of sweat. We'll be here for one more big breath. slowly starting to pick yourself up, and we'll take it to the other side by tucking left toes under, extending back to your downward facing dog, taking any little wiggles that you need here to prepare for the other side. Eventually inhale, left leg reaches up to the sky, and exhale, left knee towards left wrist, finding the same version of this posture except on the left side. So again, very important that that left thigh is parallel to the long edge of your mat. A block underneath left hip or opening that right knee out to the right can make this a little bit more supportive. Take whatever expression you like. I like to keep my chest lifted for a moment so I can really fill my lungs with a nice inhale. And my exhale, carrying my chest forward. And it's so fitting that we're talking about transformations and changes. And you guys have all, or some of you have commented about your first time at Mystic or how long you've been here. I'd like to take a look back at the comments for a moment as you guys hold in your pigeon pose. Freestyle swimming. Yeah, so if you guys feel inclined to post how long you've been coming to Mystic, or if you remember the date that you came in. And what's really cool is that you can kind of notice the changes since that time, right? Your changes, obviously, when it comes to these poses in yoga, I'm sure have changed dramatically. But even the things occurring in your life. When I first started coming to yoga, I couldn't even hold any of the postures, let alone breathe within the postures. And if you had told me then that I one day would be a yoga instructor, I would not have believed you. Slowly starting to come out of this pose. To round it off, tuck the right toes under, pick the hips up and back for another downward facing dog. And then we'll transition onto our backs, so let the knees drop. Let yourself land all the way on your back. Take a nice big long stretch. And then pull the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze and finding a gentle rocking from left to right. We'll take one last core exercise and then take it into a last couple stretches here. So I want you to start by bringing the palms underneath you, underneath your tush, so that you're kind of sitting on your palms. Reaching the legs up to the sky, and we're just going to take some scissor kicks. So dropping the left heel down and then right heel down. You can either let the legs cross like a scissor or just taking one at a time. We'll do this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to keep the right foot hovering off of the ground as left leg extends. And we're going to pulse that right leg up and down a couple inches for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring both feet and hover them. We're going to open them out to the side and back to center for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull the knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Keeping the right knee pulled into the chest. Lengthen left leg down your mat. Finding a wind relieving posture. Making sure the lower back feels supported. If it doesn't, I want you to stack the left foot on the ground. This will carry you into your twist, so letting that right leg cross over towards the left side of your mat. Perhaps bending through that left leg a little bit. Taking a block underneath right knee might feel a little bit more supportive wherever you are. 3 breaths to really relax and surrender into this pose. Coming back to center, both knees pull into the chest. And then extending right leg either to the earth, letting the foot come to the earth, or letting it come all the way down your mat. Wind relieving pose on the left side, pulling that left knee in. Letting this turn into your twist by letting that left leg cross over towards the right. And again, taking any modifications that allow this to be held a little bit more comfortably. 3 breaths. Coming back to center and taking any last posture of your choice. So do whatever you please. Perhaps a happy baby or waterfall. Reclining bound angle. And then eventually resting. Letting an expansive breath move through you like a wave. Taking a scan of your body. What has this practice provided you this morning? Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Do not fear change. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Slowly starting to take any little movements that start to reawaken your physical body. And just taking note of how this practice has changed the emotional and spiritual aspects of your morning. Perhaps pulling the knees into the chest, giving yourself another squeeze, and either rocking into a fetal position or rocking backward and forward up into your seat. Bringing your hands to your heart, once again connecting to this felt sensation. Showing gratitude for this mysterious universe bringing us all here together. We'll seal our practice in with the sound of Om, taking a cleansing breath to prepare in and out. And for Om, inhale. Thank you all for showing up on your mats. I truly admire your dedication to this practice and the ongoing transformation within me bows to the ongoing transformation happening within all of you. Namaste. Thank you so much. Especially a big thank you to Mirari for being our amazing demonstrator. Thanks everybody who commented. We got Joan, Lynn, Alexandra, Tom, Charlie, Pinal. I love it. You guys are the best. Ariana. Oh my gosh. Gayatri. Is that how I say your name? I hope so. Yeah, so if you guys want to post your story of how you found Mystic, we would love, love, love to hear it. And I think the other parts of our community would love to see how you made it to our studio. So thank you guys so much. It's Friday tomorrow already, so you know what that means. We have Deba Mitra coming in for a Barkin series, so we're very much looking forward to that. And I will be back teaching on Sunday morning. All right, guys. Thank you.